We got this read on fourth quarter economic growth in the U.S., 6.9%. You can see how the crash and the recovery in the economy have distorted that chart there. But 6.9%, that is a very good finish to the year. It shows you that Omicron did not stop a strong American economy from powering forward here. And for the year, Q1 to Q4, strongest year since 1984, 5.7% real GDP growth. That is a strong number and stronger than a lot of economists were even penciling in.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Okay, so hello, everybody. So now we have news, okay? Here's what we have. We have the salesman, the demagogue, the lunatic, fringy guy, standing up there telling you that if you redistributed our wealth to the very, very top, right, in those unbelievably important tax cuts, we would have over 4%, maybe even 5% GDP. Right? And we never got over 3% GDP. Most of the time it was right around 2.3, 2.5. Okay. Biden actually says supply side economics doesn't work. What we're going to do is, in a consumer driven economy, we're going to put money into the pockets of consumers. And we get all the stimulus money given to people with children, given to people who are trying to pay their COBRA premiums, right? I mean, there was a ton of stuff that was done. We got $350 billion in state and local aid, a $1,400 stimulus check for adults, children, and adult dependents, $1.9 trillion in the American Rescue Plan, $40 billion for higher ed, $130 billion for schools to safely reopen, all that, right? Put the money where the money will be spent, not in the pockets of the already ridiculously wealthy. And all of a sudden we get GDP 6.9%. I guess one way is a lie and the other way actually works. Can we just please do what works? Can we? Can we just please do what works? I'm just asking a question for those of you who still believe in supply side economics, who still believe that if you give all the money to the very wealthy, it'll trickle down to you someday. This is all junk. This is all garbage science. This doesn't work, just like their COVID policies. Nothing that they've offered you is going to help you. Nothing that they've ever said they were for is going to put money in your pocket. Nothing they ever were for is going to help you pay your medical bills. Nothing they were ever for is going to help you go to college. Nothing they were ever for is going to help you pay for child care or lower your household costs. That's just a fact. I have been telling this fact since forever, I guess, in the 90s with Bill Clinton. And then all of a sudden, we decided, let's just flip it around and do the, Newt Gingrich play contract on America, whatever. But I'm telling you right now, the stuff that Biden did, here's the issue. I know. The issue is he can't sell it. I get it. I understand. But that's kind of where we come in with our little tiny corner of the internet that we occupy, with our little tiny corner of the satellite channels that we're allowed to broadcast on, with our little tiny, not-for-profit ideas and our little tiny, 501c3s. We're not welcome on 6th Avenue. You understand that? That 6th Avenue is corporate media row. That's where everybody works. Not us. We're here in Florida in a commerce park. Okay? And there are people that are, sitting in their houses, literally spitting out a spleen, trying to explain to you what a lie this has all been. But the corporate money doesn't want us to tell you this. They just don't. They're not interested in you knowing that supply side doesn't work, that giving corporations subsidies on the front end and tax breaks on the back end and no tax obligation ever isn't going to work for us. It's not going to help us raise good, smart, happy, well-adjusted families. It's not. It's going to put stress on our families. It's going to divide our families. It's going to make it almost impossible for us to be there for our kids. And they know it. They know it. But Biden has accomplished a lot, and it doesn't look that way. A, because he had to start out doing a lot, and B, they're not good at selling their accomplishments. They're just not good. Now, things have definitely, obviously gotten better for us under Joe Biden. Joe Biden, as Donald Trump Jr. drunkenly and, tweaking calls him, Joe Biden. But here we are, just about at the end of COVID and Omicron. We're just about at the end. I've listened to epidemiologists from Yale, an epidemiologist from Johns Hopkins, an epidemiologist from the FDA, an epidemiologist from the CDC, all tell us that it looks kind of good for us. And that we're in the last 3 weeks of, you could see new daily infections are coming down. We're still in a ridiculous number of new infections daily because Omicron is spreading to the Midwest now. It's spreading to the West. It's spreading to places where it wasn't, before. But okay, so I'm figuring, listening to them, that we'll be pretty much done with the Omicron surge by March. They said 3 weeks, so 3 weeks would be Feb. I'm saying March. Also in March, we're going to probably start the January 6th insurrection hearings. Also in March, we're going to see a little 1/4 point interest rate increase on monetary policy to try and defeat inflation with monetary policy, which that's what Reagan did and Volcker did. I'm not, so convinced that's like the best tool that we have, but okay. So that'll happen in March. So inflation will stop being so impactful on our families. And we're going to get the name of a Supreme Court nominee from Joe Biden at the end of February. So I'm figuring confirmation hearings in March too, right? And that's all before the midterm elections. And I think that bodes really well for us in the midterm elections. Also, factor this little factoid in. This is not sexy talk. I'm no Tucker Carlson. I can't look at a green M&M and do sexy talk the way he can. But this is serious stuff that's going to happen in March. It's all literally going to happen in March, and I think everybody's going to be very pleased with the way things look in March. And I understand this isn't exciting to tell you, but with regard to the gerrymanders, see how I had to slowly, because when you're doing that, you want to approach slow. Just a little tip for the guys. Approach slow. Don't start. Just don't start and just start. Just slow. And then get into where you really want to be. And of course, I want to be talking about the gerrymanders, okay? But the gerrymanders in Alabama have been struck down by the courts. The gerrymander in Ohio has been struck down by the courts. I'm sure Ron death sentences maps in Florida won't pass muster with the courts. So it looks as if rigging the election from, gerrymandering themselves into a House majority just might not work. Now, there are other tools and techniques like voter suppression, the tried and true, and, of course, voter subversion on the back end that we haven't lived through yet because the laws are just being passed in, like, Arizona. You know what I'm saying? But the gerrymanders seem to be being addressed. They seem to have been or are in the process of being struck down by courts as being racially gerrymandered or gerrymandered to keep Democrats from having the proper representation according to the population that they are in any state. So I'm sort of happy about the news today, except for the fascism. Yeah, there's that. We have to beat it. Don't have time to listen to the live show? Want to hear more on your schedule? Go to RandiRhodes.com and buy a stinking podcast.